first about gun control. I tell you what, yes, our Second Amendment rights in the U.S. Constitution is quite clear, but you're going to love what Article 1, Section 21 of the state constitution says. It's really simple and it's really clear. And it says, the right of the citizens to bear arms in defense of themselves and the state shall not be questioned. That's all it says. Pretty simple, isn't it? Shall not be questioned. No questions whatsoever. You know what people don't get on about gun control is that you listen to some progressive professors and those who talk about the Constitution being a living, breathing document, which in a sense, folks, this document can expand and contract. Don't forget about that. But it should only expand and contract through the amendment process. No, I'm going to throw this question out there. Why is that important? Why should it only be able to expand and contract through the amendment process? Why do you think that is so?
Self-government.
That's exactly right, self-government. See, if we do things to the Constitution and arbitrarily change things without your say, we're taking your rights away. We're taking that Article 1, Section 2 right out of your pocket. We're taking that right away from you. So if we're going to change this, then let's change it through the amendment process so that we, the people, can do so. Okay? So let's not forget that. But going back to gun control, you listen to a lot of these professors and stuff, they'll tell you that, well, back in the day, they needed guns to go hunting a squirrel and go hunting a rabbit and go hunting a deer and so forth. That's crap. That's pure crap. Number one, it was there for self-defense, not only for the safety of their family, but against maybe a tyrannical government. That's why they allowed to have the arms. That's why they wanted them there. That was the point of it. They wanted the citizen to have the same weaponry as the federal government would have had, because they wanted to make sure that the government never had the upper hand. Because they came out of an arena where they saw what tyrants were like. They came out of that arena. So really, gun control is about the right of the person to defend themselves. Remember when I read in Article 1, Section 1 of our state constitution, it says the indefeasible right to not only protecting your property, but also your reputation. You have a right to be free. You have a right to defend yourself. Those are inalienable rights. When the government starts talking about gun control, and listen, I'm going to take a little side note here. My hearts and prayers go out to those parents who suffered that horrible loss of what happened in Connecticut. I am so sorry for those. As a grandparent, as a parent, I cannot imagine what those poor parents and siblings went through. But please, let's not use that as an excuse to intway and take away our liberties and freedoms. Gun control is as part of this country as the right to own property. It's because it's about the defense of individual liberty, freedom. That's what it's really about. So you need, on any of this issue coming forward, and believe me, in the legislature, and I just went through a bunch of co-sponsorships today, and they're coming across further gun registration rules, more gun control, and so forth. Folks, let's remember something. How many in this room actually believe a criminal actually pays attention to any law? I really want to know, how many criminals do you think will actually say, oh my goodness, there's a new gun law, I'm screwed? Do you think they care? One of the advantages I have being in the legislature is that before I got to the legislature, I lived a varied private sector life in various businesses. Everybody thought I was the tire salesman who got elected to the state senate. But I was a produce broker before that. And I worked at the Hunts Point Produce Terminal in the Bronx, in the hill section of the Bronx. And you want to talk about the armpit of the world. That was it. And I can tell you this, before the Hunts Point Produce Terminal was taken over by a private association through its membership, the city ran it. And as you know, New York has very strict handgun laws. Very strict handgun. You can't. They only want, what the mayor says, he only wants the police to have guns. The police and the mafia and all the other bad guys, they have guns. Good people, no, they're not allowed to have guns. But the bad guys, they can get guns. The reason I'm saying that is that if you went out on a Thursday night, and this is, I'm dating myself, I'm going back, we have to go back to like the early 90s. But if you went down to Avenue D on a Thursday night, the reason why it's Thursday night because it was everybody got paid in cash at the market. You'd see a white panel truck that was there, and you could have bought any gun you wanted. Under the tables. It was right there. That's my point. If anything about what happened in Connecticut and any other tragedy that happened, it shows that more good people need to have guns. If anything. If you look at where violence and where crime rises, it's in those areas where the criminal thinks they have the upper hand. Criminals are, do they come in broad daylight to rob your house? Well, if they know you're not home and no one else is around. If they think they can sneak in, yes, but they do it in a sneaky fashion, am I right? They don't do it in thinking that if they're going to have the upper hand. No, they do it because they think they can get away with it. Or if they want to mug you, they think they have the upper hand on you. But they thought you carried, and they didn't think they could get away clean. They're going to leave you alone. You can go to places in Texas where it's still like the Old West, man. They carry like the holster, you know, it's like Matt Dillon and you know and the Marshall and stuff. But they have very low handgun crimes because bad guys aren't going to do stuff to people who. I want good people to have guns. I feel safe when I see people, and I don't care if you want to have an AK-47. I don't really give a rip. Me personally, there's some people, well, why do they need assault weapons? I'm going, well, maybe they like to go shooting at the target range. And why not? I'm not afraid. The gun's not going to take this gun and shoot you. Good people need to have guns. We need to fight for that right. And you're going to see legislation because of what has happened recently. And I call us the 60-minute session because whatever happens on 60 Minutes or anything that comes out of the news, I guarantee you somebody in the legislature is going to introduce something to take care of that. We have plenty of laws on the books about guns. Bad people don't pay attention to them. My philosophy is we need more good people to have guns. That's what I would like to see. But finally, though, as I opened up with this, it's constitutional. We can't arbitrarily change the gun. And that's what they would be doing. You can't pass any laws that would go against the Second Amendment. You can't that would be unconstitutional. But you see, that's our problem. We don't have a majority of elected officials who probably even read this. That's a sad thing.